Hi guys, it's Shirley Ralph. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I have an early childhood program in my home where I care for 6 little ones under the age of 5. And today we are going to be talking about helping 2 and 3-year-olds learn how to negotiate and share toys. So I'm going to give you 3 strategies for how you can help your 2 to 3-year-old figure out how to solve problems and to be able to share. Now, in my classroom today, we had a lot of mind going on, and it was really tricky for my kids to be able to share. One of my 3-year-olds brought in some trucks for the other kids. I welcome toys into my classroom, and I welcome these opportunities to teach my children conflict resolution. So if a new toy comes in, this is the 3rd time that we had this toy in, and I have 2 2-year-olds who are kind of, they're both just kind of figuring out how to communicate. So, we're working around the mine and the taking toys from each other. And one of my little ones will go into meltdown mode as soon as somebody takes her toy away. And one of my boys really likes to just go in there, and he doesn't really know exactly how to enter play or to get the attention of the other child. So he knows that if he goes in there and he takes their toy, then somebody's going to be paying attention to him. So also impulse control, super low at 2. I mean, I know a lot of 4-year-olds who do not have super great impulse control. So I've been working with my kids on learning how to communicate and using 3 different strategies to help them learn how to communicate with one another and to learn how to play peacefully. So the first strategy is when I have my 1 2-year-old who is more the aggressor, will go in and take toys from other children. When I see that behavior starting to happen, I generally will, I'll observe, or I kind of know when it's going to happen, because like today, one of my guys brought in the cars. So the cars are new and they're exciting and everybody wants to play with the cars. So of course there's going to be some conflict resolution going on here today. So one of my little girls was playing in this one area, and my little guy went over there and, just takes the toy. So when that happens, she generally will go into meltdown mode. So what I do to help the children work through this is, the first thing is when I do sports casting. So sports casting is whenever I just say back to the children what I'm observing happening. I don't go over there and just say, give her back her toy or whatever. So say my 2 kids are playing together and the aggressor comes in and takes the toy, and then I see my little girl go on the floor. I'll say, I see that Cece was playing with that toy and you came over and took it from her, and now she's laying on the floor crying. What can we do to fix the problem? So he already knows what I'm going to do. He already knows that he needs to go back and give her back her toy. So generally speaking, usually we've worked through this process enough that he just will go back and give the toy. But if we have a problem with him not giving the toy back, then I will take him by the hand and lead him over, and I say, Cece wants her toy back and she doesn't like what you're doing. So generally he'll just give the toy back then. So we do that's the sports casting method. Another method is say the same exact thing happened, and I kind of alternate my methods because it depends on who I'm helping with the communication skills, because both children need help with the communication skills. The child who's taking toys and the child who's having toys taken from her, she also needs to learn to communicate. So, if let's say the same exact scenario happens again, Cece's playing with her toys, one of my guys comes over and takes her toys and she lays on the ground, then I would say to Cece, why are you laying on the ground crying? Of course, I already know why she's crying, but I want her to learn to identify the problem and articulate that to me, so that we can have a conversation about it. Because sometimes when children have something, bad happen to them, they don't even have the ability to be grounded enough to even think about what's upsetting them. They just know that they're upset, and then they can get really escalated in that way. Also can kind of fall into victim mode there. So I want to make sure that she knows that she can stand up for herself, and I want her to know that somebody has done something wrong to her and that she needs to fix the problem, be assertive. So if I see her laying on the floor, Cece, why are you on the floor? So-and-so took my toy. Well, then I'll look at her and I'll say, then get up and walk over there and tell him, I want my toy back. And the first few times when I get new kids who haven't been coached in being assertive and haven't been coached in setting boundaries, they don't always know how to do that. So sometimes I'll just go over there and stand next to the child and just kind of do something like this. or sometimes they'll mumble, I'm way back, you know. So I really work with them to teach them to project their voice. Now, my intention is not to teach these children to be mean. I don't want any of the children to be mean, but I do want the children to know that if somebody takes something from you, you have a voice, please use it. And I will be there to back you up if somebody else is, if that person is not following our classroom rules, because the children all know what the rules are. Not allowed to just take stuff from people. So those are two ways that I work with it. Sometimes I work with the aggressor and do use the sports casting method. And then sometimes I will do the coaching for the child who is just, you know, shut down and doesn't have the skills to speak up for herself, identify the problem, or articulate the problem. Now, just so that you know, I mean, it's totally normal at this age for children to have to go through this several times a day. I hear people say, I keep telling him that, you know, and they're not listening. They have to practice. It's a skill. Learning how to speak up for yourself is a skill. Learning how to restrict that impulse to go and take something from somebody else is a skill. And a lot of times when I notice when my aggressors, or you know, the children who are more like assertive right out of the gate, that go over and take the toy, a lot of times they'll take the toy and they'll look at me like, what are you going to do about it? Or did she notice that I took the toy? You know, so they want to know, am I going to follow through? So I just show them every single time, yes, I'm going to follow through. And yes, we are going to walk you back over there and make sure that you do the right thing. So the third technique that I use to work with children in learning how to resolve conflicts at this age is, so today what happened is we did a lot of that back and forth this morning with my two younger children. And then I have another little guy who's still, sometimes, you know, he's learning some, we're working on his language skills. So sometimes he has a difficult time just articulating things. So working on a lot of communication skills between those three children. And I just kept having to go back in and intervene and either coach or, you know, whatever, do a lot of social coaching today. So I decided to set up a game, and this is something I do with the children, where I will bring them in closer to myself, and I'll either create a game or we'll play a game together where the children are working with the materials and I can be right there, so that the minute the problem starts, I'm able to do that social coaching and modeling and teach the children how to be interacting with each other in a more positive way. So today, my three little ones who are still working on those skills were arguing a lot, and I just said, hey, you know what, we're gonna take all of the blocks and we're gonna put them at the table, and we're gonna bring the cars over here, and we're gonna play a fun game. So I got a dice, and we threw the dice up, and the children counted how many dots were on each dice, and then they used that to build a block tower, and then they took turns crashing the tower. So they're sharing the blocks that they had, and they're all in close proximity to one another, but the game is structured in such a way that they're not going to be grabbing toys from each other and having this negative interaction with each other. It's going to be a much more positive, much more peaceful way for them to play together. So anyways, I hope my three strategies work for you in your classroom. I would love to hear what you do with your little ones. 2's and 3's, they have so much to learn. They have to figure out how to navigate life. And I think that 2 and 3-year-olds get a bad rap. I hear people saying terrible 2's and dramatic 3's. And well, imagine if you didn't know how to use your hands or your voice, or you know, you didn't know how to go to the bathroom, and people expect you to be able to resolve conflicts peacefully when you don't even know what your own feelings are or how to communicate them. So that's our job as early childhood educators and as parents, is to support children as they learn to communicate, teach them how to respect other people's boundaries, how to interplay, and how to also resolve conflicts peacefully. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button, because I'm gonna have a lot more content like this for you guys, and have an amazing day.